This highlight of the moment has been brought to you by the National Advertising Challenge, where big brands get big ideas. Learn more at nationaladvertisingchallenge.com.
I want to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. You're being an entrepreneur and a self-starter. There's some people who work at larger companies. Let's take, some of the creatives that work at ad agencies, and they know that they're maybe not ready right now, or may not ever be ready to go out on their own. And yet they have somewhat of an entrepreneurial spirit. They want to embrace that a little bit more. What do you look for, say, maybe in some of the employees that some of the people you hire? What do you look for in terms of someone who wants to kind of express that entrepreneurial spirit at your company?
We let them. We love entrepreneurs, right? That's someone who's an entrepreneur, but within the company and continually innovates and makes things better. And there's a lot of room for them in the corporate world, not just at my company, whether it's at the Googles of the world, which let you spend 10, 20% of your time doing whatever projects you think are valuable. But entrepreneurship can be done within an organization. And not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur and go out on their own. There's a lot of risk. And what people don't realize is you can make an arm and a leg working in the corporate world. If you do a lot of innovation within a company, you'll get rewarded and paid. And trust me, if you're not, then you need to go and renegotiate whatever deal you have. But I know a lot of executives who make 7 figures just working for companies. I know a lot of people who have started off their career and they're young and they're already making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 working at companies. It's about how scrappy you are, how well you can execute, how well you can help someone grow. We're in a world now where it's hard to get really good talent, and talent is paid very, very well if you can show that you're great at what you do.
Do you think entrepreneurs are born? In other words, we've talked a little bit about how, it's not necessarily cut out for everyone. There's risk involved. Most of the entrepreneurs I know, it seems as though that's the only thing they can do. They probably would die in a more of a traditional kind of scenario where they're working for somebody. Do you think this is something that's always in you, or is it really something that you can develop on your own and maybe one day be?
No, so I think there are people who are born to be entrepreneurs, but I also think you can learn stuff too. It's just like you learn to ride a bike. You learn most of the things that you do in this world. It's funny that there is people pose a similar question that I've heard. Are people just born smart if your parents have good genetics? Yeah, versus are you just born to be dumb if you come from a poor family in a underprivileged area? And I have a friend who grew up in Ohio on a farm, and he went to boarding school, and he went to Brown because of baseball. He was really good at playing baseball. I believe it was Brown. And then he went to Harvard after, the Harvard part I know. And he was good at baseball. He was the first one in his family to go to college. And I was talking with him, and, I was talking with him as well as a few other people. And it's just like, he has a kid who had all the things in the world and grew up with everything. And yet his son didn't achieve what he would have expected. He looks at his son as like a goof off who's not going to do well. His daughter had all those things and she ended up doing really well. My parents didn't give me everything. My first job was picking up trash and cleaning toilets, and I figured things out. On the flip side, though, I've met kids who came from the bad areas of Los Angeles. And I bet you if you put them in Beverly Hills, I'm making it up, Beverly Hills has really good schools. And from a young age, if they were given the privilege and the ability to go to those schools, I bet you some of them, even if they were African American, Hispanic, whatever nationality, because they came from nothing and they knew they had to fight hard for it, I bet you they would do better than that rich kid that you put in that school who knows that if they don't do well, mommy and daddy are going to take care of them. I would bet on the kid from that poor neighborhood that is maybe African American or Hispanic. And I bet you they'll outperform that rich kid who was handed a Mercedes or a BMW when they grow up. The point I'm trying to make is it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, if you're male or female. I believe anyone can do well if you give them the right opportunities and you educate and you teach them.